Welcome to One on One on God 101. Our guest today is Zach, the fifth person voted off of Big Brother season 27. Zach, we're going to get into all things Big Brother,
Yeah,
but first, God.
yeah, absolutely.
Your dad is a pastor, so you know God has to come first.
Yeah,
Um, you know that.
I do.
So talk to me about your relationship with God. When did it start, and what is it like today?
Yeah, I mean, it's only gotten stronger. I actually grew up as a pastor's kid. My dad is a pastor, and it's funny because I grew up in a very sheltered home. I went to a private Christian school, but I really didn't learn and grow a relationship with him until I got to college. And it's one of those things where it's like my morals and how I acted like was really put to the test in that moment. And I had multiple decisions. I remember like the first time I saw somebody doing drugs in college, I was like freaking out and I had to call like my sister because I'm like, what the heck is going on right now on the side of the street? Right. And so she was basically kind of walking me through it. But that's how sheltered I really was heading into college. But God has had my back time and time again. And coming into the Big Brother house specifically, I knew for a fact that like there would be highs and lows. And there were even lower lows than I was expecting. And in that moment, like I'm really appreciative of my housemates because they were really kind of like pulling me through those dark times. But I know, like at the end of the day, my Lord and Savior, He has my back in all things, and I give all the glory to Him. All the opportunities I could have used in the game, like I still give Him the glory in that moment. And I know everything happens for a reason, and yeah, so I'm forever grateful for my relationship with Him, and I'm forever grateful for Big Brother as well.
What were your prayers like? How did they change once you were in the house? What were you praying about?
It was a prayer of like God, just get me through the day because like the day itself, nobody realizes how stressful and how closed in you are in those moments. Like in my regular life, if I get stressed out, I kind of like separate myself. I kind of remove myself from conversation. I kind of spend some time in daily prayer or in that walk. So like when I did have those moments, I would really take advantage of those moments. However, I didn't get many of those moments because people were constantly everywhere in the house. I remember there was one point one day where I was so overwhelmed that I did grab the word and I was just trying to find a room in the house to be alone. There was not a singular room in the house that was alone. I was actually about to just go sit on the toilet and open it up because there was nowhere else. Even the bathroom was covered with people. And I was just going to walk into the toilet just to get a moment with him. But like even especially with this week, it was so stressful for me, and it was hot. It was very anxious. But I prayed. I was like, God, whatever's in your will, it's going to happen. Whatever may pass will pass. And I said, in all things, I'll glorify you. If I'm able to pull it off this week and survive another week, then I could use this to my advantage and my teammates' advantages. But clearly, that's not what he had in his plan. So I'm still forever blessed, and I will be defending my decision till the day that I die. So that's kind of what we're doing. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Because it hasn't even been 24 hours since you were evicted as we're speaking right now.
yeah,
Why are you defending your decision to
yeah.
not, you're talking about not using your secret power of the BB buy off to
Right,
save yourself, which would have been meant giving up the 10 grand you won on premiere
right,
night to
right.
Ava.
Yeah, I mean, Julie, it was in that moment I knew that Morgan was going to be the fourth nomination, and Vince and Morgan were my diehard day one, like A1 people in the house. And so in my mind, it didn't make sense because we still would have had two people that we were, working with on the block, even if I pulled myself off. And so like I was betting on myself to win that blockbuster or Vince win that blockbuster. And truth be told, when Kat was literally closing the box in my mind, I was thinking, the house still has me. There's been not a singular person being like, oh, we need to get Zach out at that moment or what I had heard. And so, like, the perception of me clearly changed in the next 3 days, but that's how Big Brother is. 3 days is basically 3 years in that house. And so, like, anything can happen on a dime. I mean, the night before, when I laid my head to sleep before live, I thought I was good. And like, my perception had changed. And then I thought I brought it back by revealing to Morgan and Mickey that I did have the power. And I thought that they were going to use that to their advantage so that that situation wouldn't happen, in an upcoming week. And so that was my thought process of not using it. If I had known when Catherine was closing the box that people were truly 50-50 between Vince and I would have thought of myself in that moment. I would have pulled myself off the block. But because the perception was, Zach, you're good, you don't have to worry about it, I was thinking I was going to win the veto comp, give the medal or the veto to Vince, and then I would have used my power as well. And then that would have left just Morgan on the block. That was my game plan going into the veto. Clearly, I didn't win it. And then, like even the day before, I was asking Morgan, I was asking other people, should I let Vince win the BB blockbuster? Because I was sitting there thinking I had some of the votes, and I think I would have done well against Keanu. But people were still telling me they're like, you still got to go in for yourself. So I think I did obviously play a bit too selfless. That's why I'm sitting out of this house right now. But I don't regret the decision because it would not have made sense for me in that moment to use the power when Catherine was closing the box. So that was my thought process. Obviously, perception changed.
What are your thoughts on the fact that Morgan wasn't one of the votes to keep you? After you
Yeah.
told her you didn't use your power so that you could keep her safe.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know how much that decision was weighing on her. She was crying, it felt like every 30 minutes leading up to that final vote. Like legitimately, she cried to me at least 4 or 5 times. Um, I don't blame her for the game situation. I would have kept me in the game for the reason of a power is a massive advantage. But I also understand that, Rachel was really pushing for me to stay in the game against Vince that morning. And people were getting afraid because it's like the perception of me with Rachel, it would have benefited Rachel's game too much compared to Vince. And so they're like, we don't want to help Rachel's game in this situation. We need to vote Zach out. There was also this rumor running around that if there was any situation where, it was Lauren versus anybody else for me, I would have kept Lauren in the game, which was not true by any sense of this, imagination. And then people also were telling me that, I still was an athletic threat. So when it came to specific comps, I would have had a very good opportunity to win HOH. And so I think it was just a mixture of all of that. And so I think also some people said that Vince would have been an easy person to put on the block every single week. For me, it wouldn't have been the case. So it's like all four of those things is really the reason why I think everyone voted to keep Vince in the game.
Speaking of Lauren, you seem sweet on her.
Yeah.
What do you think the future holds when she's out of the house as well?
Yeah, I mean, I was very upfront and honest with her. I was like, it felt like she was cast exactly for me. And what I mean by that is exactly my type, a good Southern girl, somebody that my mom would really approve of. And like that's one of the biggest things to me is making sure that like my family loves the people that I introduce to them. But the biggest thing was one, I realized we're going into a game scenario. So like that is upfront, like the number one thing that I am focused on. And number two, she's never had a boyfriend before. And so I was trying my hardest never to make her uncomfortable in any situation. I told her after the fact that I'm going to come to Louisiana. I'm going to fly over there once she is out of the house. And I really want to give, it an opportunity, give it a chance. But I also wanted to respect her game. I wanted to respect my game. And in the house, I was trying to keep it very light, very casual. But yeah, I really do like she is somebody I really see myself dating if that opportunity comes. So, Lauren, I'm rooting for you, girl, 100%.
Oh, okay. So are you, well, you're rooting for her. Does that mean you want her to win?
I would be thrilled if she did win. But then again, it's like if you ask me to rank who I want to win first, I mean, we would be sitting here for 30 minutes, Julie, because I'd have to figure out, what situation would I prefer. But no, like seriously, between Lauren, Vince, Morgan, and Mickey, even Will, I love Will to death. Those five, I would be thrilled if any of them won because I felt like, I had a close relationship with them, excuse me, or anyone else, like I feel like they had a good game sense as well. So that was my thought process.
Well, who do you think is playing the best game?
I think if the game ended right now, Mickey would win. However, we're not even to jury yet. So that is why I think that when you use a power like she did to flip the house upside down and she was able to get somebody out like Jimmy, that's huge in terms of this game. And also, she had great relationships with everybody in every single pod of the house. It felt like to a lot of us, there wasn't one solidified major alliance, which was weird. But there could have been. But in my eyes, it really felt like there wasn't. And so, like, she just had really great relationships with everybody. I felt like if it ended right now, she would be the winner. Granted, she also is the number one target in my eyes heading into jury. And so I did find out from somebody else that Rachel is now HOH. So it is about to be cinema this week. Julie, I was going to take a week off from watching. I got to watch now. It is going to be the best week of Big Brother, arguably in history. So I'm really excited as a fan to watch it.
We should put on our seatbelts while floaters grab their life vests for this week. Uh, you said you were going to play it selfishly. You had these big ideas before you went into the house.
Yeah.
And I wonder how much of it is your Christian foundation and upbringing that just didn't allow you to play it selfishly. And actually, you played it the opposite way, where you sacrifice your own life in the game for others.
Look, I think a lot of it did come back to, my mom and dad watching every single day, watching the live. I knew that they were rooting me on, but they also gave me access to do whatever I wanted in the house. Like they wanted me to play the game. And so, look, people are playing the game differently, like different ways. I really wanted to go in there and win HOH and be a comp beast. And shout out to Keanu for being that person to continuously save himself. Like he has my respect in that aspect. However, when I realized how my game was going, especially after week one, when I saved you, Julie, I had to pivot my game because people were already telling me that I did have an immediate target because I had won $10,000. And I'm thinking in that moment, I have to take a step back. I have to create and focus on my relationships with everybody in the house and not make those massive moves. And so going into the game, because I won the literal first competition of the season, it changed my entire perspective of how I should be approaching the game. Because I was selfless and for example, I gave the London trip to Will. Look, if I had kept that London trip, that would have created an even bigger target on my back because I had won the 10K and I got a London trip. I wanted to, first off, Will is like my dad in that house, and he reminds me so much of my dad that from the goodness of my heart, that was the main reason. But also, it's to keep me safe. And like he told me he would never vote against me no matter what. So it was partly game sense as well for that reason. And so, I knew that I was playing it selflessly. However, if I had won the blockbuster or Vince had won the blockbuster, I felt like my game was in a great position to make a run once we got to jury because my game, instead of being so selfishly, people could look at me in jury and being like, he played a great selfless game. And that would have been a way that I would have approached the jury if I was standing in the final two. And I knew I was rolling the biggest die whatsoever, like not playing the power. But I was thinking, I'm putting all my cards on the table. If I'm able to win this week, then I think I'm in the best position in the entire house.
Okay. If you could do anything over, including not winning that first, premier night prize, because it did send your game on a certain path,
It did.
would you do anything over differently?
I mean, look, hindsight's 2020, right? I mean, in terms of the experience, I would never do anything different. I think everything happens for a reason. However, if I knew the perception of me when Catherine was in that, literally closing the box, I would have saved myself. Like in that moment, the perception was, Zach, you are totally fine in this house. Nobody has said a word about me. It was all about Vince. It was all about Keanu. And like I was trusting that. Clearly, I should have been thinking nobody's safe in this game. Expect the unexpected, like you always say. And I would have saved myself if I knew the perception was different. However, even then, I'm still banking that I win the blockbuster. Vince wins the blockbuster. That never happened. And like the worst case scenario happened. And so for that reason, like it is what it is. There was literally one route that could have happened that would have killed my game, like clearly, literally killed my game. And it did. So, yeah, I don't regret anything, but yeah, that would have been probably the one thing. If I knew the perception just a bit earlier, I would have let Morgan know about the power before the meeting happened, just to let her know that I'm probably putting her on the block because I know that I'm not safe in this moment. I thought I was 100% safe.
What's next for you, Zach?
What's next for me? I'm gonna take a break, and I really want to spend time with my family. If I have the opportunity to see you again, Julie, and play this game again, I would be over the moon. If I had the opportunity to play any type of game, I'm a massive competitor, but specifically Big Brother. I mean, you learn from your mistakes, right? And I really respect Rachel for coming back on here again because she has a family and it's her third time coming on, and she's just incredible in that way. She literally said Big Brother is the hardest game show that anyone can ever play. And Suri from Survivor, she said the same exact thing. And so I am always for a crazy challenge, and if I get this opportunity again, I definitely will. I will be taking that 10K though. I want to take my mom to Wimbledon, which is very funny because it's in London. And so like when I revealed that London trip, I was like, oh, this is literally the most ironic thing that could happen right now. I gave it to Will, but I'm gonna be using that 10K to bless my family and make my mom really happy. So that's really what I'm focused on.
Zach, thank you and Godspeed to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Julie. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.